Hey, so I have got this cooler. It's the last one. I've got other coolers I've got reviews on, but this is the big one. And this is the one I keep in the bed of my truck. As soon as hunting season starts, it just gets cable locked in. There's holes on, little slots on each side. You can put a cable through and lock it. It's where it lives. It's the bed of my truck. As soon as elk season starts or deer season, it just goes back there. That's where it stays. And it's the Grizzly 165 quart cooler. It retails right now for about $670 before tax, and they've got a ton of different colors for this cooler, which is awesome. When I first got this one, I actually traded it for a couple of 3D archery targets when my wife and I moved to Idaho. I didn't want to transport all those targets, and so I didn't really have a need for it. And my buddy had this, and he didn't have a need for it, and so we traded. And so I took this giant cooler with me to Idaho. But I use it, so it has a purpose. If I didn't have it, I would buy one. It's so handy. I have filled this cooler several times just with deer hunting, and it'll fit about 4 or 5 quartered out white-tailed deer. And once you really get them kind of shoehorned in there, they will fit. And it's heavier than heck. I don't know exactly how much ice it will hold or how much it costs to fill it. I actually had a police officer stop me at a gas station and ask me how much money and ice it took. And I told him, when I'm filling it, I just fill it. That's all I do is I just keep putting ice in it until it's done. I put well over 200 pounds worth of ice in this thing and still had room. And just to keep it cold while going from one place to another, because you do want to pre-chill cool these. Otherwise, if you just put stuff in it, the ice will melt, and it's going to melt anyways, but it's good to keep it cold. What I'll do is to keep the ice cheap, I'll buy 1 gallon jugs of water, pour a little bit of it out so when they freeze and expand, they don't bust. And then when they start to thaw, I'll just put them back in a freezer and rinse and repeat. Saves you a lot of money on ice when you're filling something this big. But yeah, so 165 quart cooler, I absolutely love it. The hinges, or not the hinges, but the latches on these, they can come off, they can be replaced, and if it does break, say it's really cold out, it's about 45 degrees here in the garage, so it's not a big deal. But if they get cold and break, or hot and rip, whatever, you can still take a piece of cord and tie it on there and keep shut. It does have a really nice lock. On each side you can lock it. Cable lock works really well. Like if you buy a gun, the locks that come with it, they go through here real nice. Or you can get like a traditional lock. I do have a cable, a big heavy steel cable in the bed of my truck that is tied down to the bed that goes through. There's like little slots on the side. You can't really see it, but they're right here. And I'll put the cable through there and lock it with a big heavy lock. And it just lives there during hunting season. On the top, there's a ruler, 1 to 45 inches. And on the back, there is a straight piece of bar stock for the lid. So if the bar stock breaks, you can go get another one and you just run it right through the back and you have your lid latched on again. So it makes it real nice for a cooler this big. On the ends, flip this back down. On each side there's this hole. This is the drain hole. They're 2 inches and there's one on each side. So you got a lot of room to drain a cooler this size. If you got some loose ice in there, it'll fall out too. It just works really well for just getting the warm or like not ice cold water out, so you can put more ice in and keep the cooler nice and cold when it's full of meat. And makes it nice when you're trying to clean it because it can work a lot faster. I just use warm soapy water, clean it out. But this is a good size cooler. I really like it. It is bear proof, which is a big deal to me. It's got a couple of slots in it, so you can put dividers in or run a basket on it. And it's got the nice seal up top also. But this kind of cooler, if you're just doing weekend kind of stuff, it's gonna be big. And just stick with like a 65 quart. And if you got a bigger family, 100 quart, something that size. But definitely recommend it, all USA made. And if you don't need something this big, don't do it, because it takes up a ton of room. But if you have any questions on it, ask. I'd love to answer them. How much it weighs, I don't know. I don't really care. I know it's heavy. But yeah, anyways, like, subscribe. Thank you all. I appreciate it.